For the sake of time, which I'm maybe going over now due to my technical difficulties here, I'm going to run my own timer. This is an iPhone 4S. It's got HZO's technology inside. Some of you may have seen this magic trick in the back of the room. Given the amount of glass that we break when we travel to these kinds of events, we travel light now and take a much smaller device, or a much smaller canister. All right. People's dependence on electronic devices has expanded rapidly over the last decade. From emergence of new technology to the current trend of full integration, the pace of technology adoption is actually speeding up, believe it or not, still. This means that the design, the functionality, the features of these devices are continually changing, and each new generation of a device has to include something new, something innovative, in order to remain competitive. But innovation isn't the only thing that originates with device makers. Consumers are starting to drive more and more demand for wearables that can be utilized around the clock, no matter the activity they engage in. So when it comes to device features, I'm sure as many of you ask yourselves, what's required? What's good enough? What's going to define the market going forward? The explosion of wearable tech has created a unique opportunity for products to be more seamlessly integrated into user environments because of how small and accessible the technology has become. And because of the number of products emerging on the market, the need for identifying those unique features should be imperative for companies who are looking to capture a competitive advantage. But the truth is that differentiation is more than a checkbox on a list of product features. Real differentiation leads to new opportunity and potentially the creation of a new segment of demand. We are indeed surrounded by water. 70% of the planet is covered by water, which represents a very real threat to electronics. We're exposed to humidity, to sweat. In the case of water, there are a lot of products that claim to offer varying levels of water protection. Sometimes that level of protection depends on the amount of usage the device gets, what kind of usage. But the question we should be asking is whether or not the end users have confidence in the protection that device claims. Now, this is more important than simply stating that your product is safe from water exposure. This is a complete change of mindset in the eyes of consumers. The product that comes to market, I believe, that is successful in changing that level of confidence with end users is going to set the course for a new era of device usage. And as a complete solution for manufacturers and device makers and OEMs, HZO's technology aligns perfectly with product miniaturization and the next wave of usability of electronics. So with that said, we are now faced with the likelihood of a 24/7 device. People are always busy, they're on the go. The demand for products that match lifestyle have never been in greater demand than they are right now. And 2 years ago, HZO introduced and commercialized a technology that changes where people use electronics, and allowing wearables and other products to be fully submerged in liquids while allowing them to maintain full functionality. Today, HZO's technology goes beyond just submersion protection. Our company now delivers protection for electronics that allow products to go anywhere. A swimmable device, a livable device. So just imagine that, a product for end users that is completely protected and safe from exposure to any kind of liquid, whether it be the shower, the swimming pool, the ocean, dust and debris, sand on the beach, or sweat. Whether or not that device comes off should be entirely a decision that the end user makes, not because they feel in danger of damaging that device. I imagine that many of you are working to create products that become a more natural and integral part of people's lives, and one that eliminates the worries about ruining electronics simply by doing what people do every day. So just a real quick poll, if I may. How many companies, developers in the audience, already have a product that has some level of liquid protection on? Anyone? All right. Mechanical seals, anybody use those on the product? We just had a few hands. I guess for those who either own a waterproof device or have a product that's labeled as waterproof, do you have adequate confidence in that technology that it will deliver a waterproof solution to the end user? So we'll go back. This is where I originated here, I think, for volunteers. But since we didn't have that many hands go up, we'll skip this piece. But we commissioned a kind of an unofficial poll here where we asked end users who own a waterproof device, whether it's a wearable, whether it's a smartphone, if they have ever intentionally submerged that quote-unquote waterproof device in water. It wasn't a massive sample. It was enough that we felt confident in the results. 10% of people said yes. We don't have no idea what the output of that was, whether the device survived afterwards. But that's just to show you, people that actually own a device that has some claim of water protection don't really have confidence that that thing can be exposed to water, at least over longer periods of time. So how are devices being protected today? The rapid advancement of powerful nanotechnologies is carving its place out among traditional protection offerings, and that's because mechanical seals and ultrasonic welding and other coating solutions place limitations on design freedom and miniaturization. So while other coating and solutions like plasma are not reliable replacements for mechanical seals when it comes to submersion, the same is true with mechanical seals as we see here. Some of the potential pitfalls in adopting a technology like mechanical seals. Sure. Expanding and shrinking in changing temperatures. You leave some exposure and failure in the hands of consumers. Misalignment of plugs and aging seals that crack and deteriorate over time. This next slide, quick, is an example of a pseudo IPX7 test. Just real quick, that's 30 minutes submerged in water at 1 meter. The example on the far right is a PCB board of a control sample with a company that used mechanical seals. The middle one is a plasma coating, and the end is HZOs. These photos were taken a week after exposure. The two on the left, or the one on the left and the one in the middle, both devices failed within a minute. And the right end is HZO's control board, which survived the test and no signs of corrosion after a week. So solution providers that address these challenges of next-gen product design are creating ways to make it easier for small devices to be integrated into daily life. So as a product designer, are you asking, is splash protection good enough? Will it protect against corrosion after consistent exposure to sweat? Is accidental submersion protection good enough? Is the uniformity of the coating consistent to a level to protect at long-term exposure? And so for some products, I think the answer is yes. But I think that for products in certain spaces that are really trying to differentiate, the answer is probably a resounding no. So what HZO does is provide a solution that covers not just splashes and accidents, but dunks and long-term exposure to any liquid or corrosive environment. Now I had a couple of, I'm short on time, so I'm going to run through these very quickly. These are some customers that we work with, and just to show you some of the benefits, this is a backlit compass watch who would use a protection, us as a redundant protection. They actually at some point abandoned the solution they were using. Now, versus that former solution, their HZO protected compass now outsells that mechanical sealed version at 9-to-1 at a $50 premium. This next one is a crash sensor for bike helmets, snowboard helmets. Again, you can just scan these bullets quickly, but the takeaway here is that since adding our technology, production and demand for their products has increased, and production increased by 3,600% since they applied our technology. And finally is a very well-known fitness band that we've been very tight-lipped about for quite a while now. We've coated over 1 million of those devices. Not one return over the course of that relationship. It's widespread, it's on the market available. There's a good chance that some of you own it right now and don't know HZO is on it. And just to close real quick, HZO works directly, so it's clear, with product designers, with manufacturers, OEMs, in order to design solutions, protection solutions that add differentiating technology in a space where everybody is competing for a slice of the pie and a piece of the mind share. Product differentiation has never been more important or critical as a market like wearable technology comes to the surface and more people start to adopt the technology. What makes your product stand out and stand apart? And essentially what what drives consumers to change how they believe your product will act and complement their lifestyle. We are at the back of the room. If you haven't seen our demo yet, please feel free to stop and visit us. Thanks very much.